Hello guys, it is Brittany here. Welcome back to my Color Guard YouTube channel. If you're watching this video, I'm guessing you want to learn some more about rifle or saber. I have another video for that. Today I'm going to be teaching your second necessary skill to be really good at weapon and make those weapon lines out there. Today we're going to be learning tracks or flourishes. The name varies depending on where you're from. This is a super useful skill on flag and on weapon because they help loosen your wrist. That's actually their intended use. We use them a lot in choreography, and it also is another way that we use exercises to kind of keep the whole team in time with each other. And so it's just a nice, good little exercise to warm up with. So whatever you're using it for, I'll be here to teach you today. So if you're still interested, let's go. So first things first, when you're learning how to do tracks or flourishes, is you have to know how to release any tension in your wrists. If your wrists are tense, they won't be able to warm up properly, and that just means that you'll hurt yourself later on when you're spinning during practice or by yourself. So you want to make sure that your wrists are nice and loose. I recommend doing some kind of stretches to warm up your wrist first to help loosen any tension, and then learn how to kind of release tension with a rifle as well. So basically what a flourish is, you guys should know this skill on flag already, but on rifle it's a little different. We'll do our flourishes from the neck of our rifle and from the same place where we do left drop spins, which is about a fist away from the bolt. So first things first is you want to kind of just bring your butt down and kind of dive it to the side of you, and it'll come behind you. Then your tip will kind of come behind you, tip will come in front. I usually use the tip as the indicator of how this movement should go, because basically your tip should stay in your toaster, flat in front of you and flat behind you. Sorry, quick interjection from future Brittany here. I just realized that some of you may have not watched my flag video where I talk about what a toaster is, so I'm going to kind of rediscuss that topic for those of you that need to kind of figure out what that means, and it'll kind of help you with the motion of your flourish. So basically the idea of a toaster is, imagine your lovely beautiful self as a giant piece of toast. You're in your toaster. If you turn any kind of way, so kind of like if you also know 27 points, or if you are familiar with that, if you hit any of these corners of your box, you're burning your toast or you're electrocuting yourself. We don't want to do that. We want to stay completely flat. So think about everything coming kind of straight out of, I always say your hips because that's kind of right in the center, straight out of the side of you, not at an angle back or an angle forward. Think about it coming straight out of you. So in regards to flourishes or stuff of that kind of nature, your toaster basically means your equipment needs to stay flat in front of you, like so, not come at an angle like that, and then it also should not come at an angle backwards like that, and it should never hit you. You're in your toaster, it'll always kind of pass right by you, but it should never hit you. If you are, that means you're probably out of your toaster. So just think about giving yourself just enough wiggle room so that way it can sweep straight and straight. Never tilt it at any angle because you'll burn your toast. Don't burn your toast. Burnt toast is no good. Okay? So that was our little mini lesson on the toaster. Let's get back to tracks. So it should come up and then down behind you, up in front, behind. Basically every time it comes to the side, it'll hit this kind of upwards position where your nose is up, and then it'll come down, back up, down, back up. And you should just let this kind of motion just flow from side to side. The main thing when it comes to flourishes is if your wrist is loose enough, you should be able to just do this with your thumb, your pointer finger, and your middle finger if you need it. Sometimes you just need the two, the thumb and the pointer finger. So try to just hold it with those 3 or 2 fingers and just let it kind of swim in between your fingers, as I call it, and do not do what we call choking your rifle. You don't want the motion to be forced and kind of move your whole shoulder. Your goal is to, just like drop spins, isolate just your hand and your wrist, so that way it's not an entire arm motion, it's just an exercise used to relieve tension in your hand. So just try that out for a second, just kind of let the motion go back and forth. Then it's the same on the left. You just grab about a fist above your bolt and you do the same motion. It'll feel a little bit different. If you need to, I suggest grabbing your thumb around just to kind of help stabilize it. If you're first learning, if you're kind of comfortable with this and are just here to learn the exercise, I'd recommend trying to do it without your thumb because you'll loosen up your wrist faster. It's a lot easier. But just try to get used to the motion of letting the rifle use its own weight on either side to kind of do it. Don't force it. Just let the rifle use its own natural weight, sorry, can't talk, to let it come around. And that should be all you need to do. So main thing, if you feel like you're forcing it, you probably are, and you should just need to revise your technique a little bit. But now that we've talked about kind of the basics of it, let's go in and learn this exercise. So, starting with learning our tracks exercise, we're going to start at left flat. Those of you that don't remember what left flat is, it's right hand covering your butt all the way. This is my right pinky covering all the way to the end of the butt. My left hand is about a fist away from my bolt, so kind of in this little area in between right here. How we're going to start the exercise is I'm going to push my right hand straight down to my thigh. It's going to stay there until I need to re-grab. So I'm going to push till my rifle is vertical. I'm going to push, grab. And I'm going to grab thumb up, thumb pressed to the back of my rifle. Remember, we don't wrap. So pressed to the back of my rifle. So then grab and pass it off. Now I'm going to go through my first track, which is this kind of down angle. So if you guys remember our 27 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The one that comes straight out of my hip. We want to kind of think about being at 12 down here as our starting point or our reference. So if you remember 27 points, we're going to start our tracks or our flourishes down at point 12. So we're here, I'm going to push. My wrist is going to dive straight down to point 12. That's your first task. So I'm here, it's going to go behind me, in front of me. Once it comes in front of me, I'm going to stop it with my left hand all the way at the end of my nose. Now I'm going to push my left hand down straight to my thigh, bring it up, thumb pressed to the back, that same place I was grabbing it on my left flat. And I'm going to bring it down to my opposite side. So if remember, we have 22, 23, 24. Yeah, point 24. We're going to dive straight down there. Point 24. So we dove down, awesome. We're there, we're going to dive. It's going to come behind, in front, grab with my right hand all the way flush to the end of my butt. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky. We're going to push it up. We're going to bring it around. I'm going to bring it straight to my belly button. So before we stopped it, we're not stopping it. This one's a little longer. We're going to come here, straight to my belly button. Your butt is going to travel straight up your body. Okay? No, we don't like talking about math, but like to bring up math here. So think about like this is your x-axis like we talk about in math, and this is your y. This is kind of why tracks is important. We can learn how to take our rifle from our x to our y, which is pretty cool. So we're down here, we're going to stop, and now we're going to come straight up just like we're on the y-axis. It's going to come up. My butt is now up. I'm going to bring it behind my head like that, so kind of bring it flat. That's going to be right behind my head. So notice from the side, it's literally straight up right behind my head. This part's where it gets a little tricky because you're going to need to bring it flat, right, keeping it right there. Think about if you had like an Ariana Grande style ponytail right there at the top of your head. You want it to stay right there. You're going to bring it to the right and kind of bring it right there. We're going to stop the motion. Some people bring it straight down, but this exercise is going to teach you how to bring it here at a port angle, and then you're going to bring it flat. So I know that was a bit much, but we'll take it slowly one more time. So let's start from left flat. We're going to push, grab the neck. We're going to dive down to our point 12, here to my belly button, up, 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 up. Butt is up, bring it flat, bring it, now tip is up, you should see that, tip is up behind my head, bring it flat, and now bring it in front of my head, like that, keeping it all right here behind my head, grab at my port angle, bring it flat. Now we gotta switch it to our left side, so let's do that. So push, grab, I'm going to dive down, dive, straight to my belly button, now I'm gonna bring my tip up, and I'm going to bring my tip to the left, behind my head like so, bringing it flat, bring it in front of my head, grab at another port angle, this time your tip is up, and flat. So that can be a bit much, but we still have one more thing to go before we can put this whole thing together. So let's just get there. So we just ended our second set on the left side. Now we're gonna go back to the right for our final one. Push, grab the neck, down angle, belly button here. From here, we're going to dive straight back down from like my shoulder, straight back down to here and flat. So notice I literally just added our first flourish into our second one, and kind of that was our last little finishing one. So basically go to our first flourish, our second one, back into first, and then flat. So now we're gonna do that on the left side as well. We're gonna push, grab, fist above the bolt. We're going to dive down, belly button, up my head, and then from my shoulder, we're gonna dive straight back down and bring it flat. I know that's a lot of spinning, but I promise it'll get easier the more you practice. But now let's kind of break it down and learn these counts. Let's put the whole exercise together. Ready, go. So first, we're gonna start here at our left flat. We're going to push. This is kind of similar to drop spins. We're not going to be pushing on one, so we want to start our spins on one. So we're going to push on 8 and. So remember, if you need a little reintroduction to what and counts are, we have count 8 and we have count 1. Then there's this beautiful little sweet spot in between where we call it and count. So basically it's easier for your instructors to clean choreography, and we can know where stuff is in between, so that way if maybe something's a little dirty, we can clean it up. Same thing with our exercise. We want to make sure these are clean as well, so we do our and counts. So I'm gonna say push pass because that helps me with my time. If I say 8 and, it doesn't really compute in my brain. I'm better with words. If you're a word person, you can say push pass. So I'm gonna go 5, 6, 7, push pass, aka 8 and. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3. We're gonna hold 5, 6, 7, push pass. 1, 2, 3. Hold 5, 6, 7, push pass. We're gonna go 1, 2, up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, push pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, push pass. Now this will be the fastest one we do in real time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You only have one count, so it's 7. Immediately you're gonna push pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And that'll be your last count for the whole exercise. It can be a bit much, but I can guarantee you that if you kind of take it a count at a time and just let the fluidity, it's a hard word, kind of take over and not force your rifle, this will become 1,000 times easier. It took me a long time to figure out this flourish that goes above your head, not this one, because you have to kind of think about literally letting it just kind of come in front of and behind your head. It's the weirdest feeling ever, but when you do it right, you'll know, because it's literally the most unique feeling ever. Because you'll feel your shoulder slightly moving and pretty much your wrist is doing this, and we don't do this any other time in color guard besides this weird flourish. So kind of practice that motion if that's what you're having trouble with. But for the sake of time, I'm going to teach you guys how to do this exercise in real time with counts. So let's go. 5 and 6 and 5, 6, 7, push pass. 1, 2, 3. Hold 5, 6, 7, push pass. 1, 2, 3. 5, 6, 7, push pass. 1, 2, 3, 4. Grab 5, 6, 7, push pass. 1, 2, 3. Grab 5, 6, 7, push pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, push pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Remember, any questions, comments, concerns, put in the comment section down below. Always reading them so I can help you guys out just a little bit more. Couple key points I'll kind of use to wrap up this video is make sure any kind of tracks or flourishes you do are guided by your wrist and the fluidity of your wrist. It should not be handled by your shoulder or your rifle and you choking the equipment. The emphasis for these exercises is on your wrist and opening it up. So really, I emphasize just training these 3 or these 2 fingers to do the flourishes. If you try to do any more than that, your wrists probably aren't getting that kind of release of tension that they need. Other than that, that's about it. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.